point and shoot digital that also takes short video clips. I switch to video. As I point the lens at the bighorn, adrenaline pours into my system. I realize that the bighorn has found itself between two humans. The bighorn chooses to walk toward me. I'm actually the shorter of the two of us, so that's probably why. I keep my camera on him but walk backward, and then he breaks into a run. My panic spikes. The bighorn runs in my direction but cuts from the trail a few yards before he reaches me. He makes a swift-footed dash down the slope off the trail and back up it. He disappears around the trail bend. "Man," Fred calls out. I walk over to Fred and we watch the video on the camera's playback. We want to confirm what happened. Fred and I smile. Such an animal encounter turns into an honor. It becomes the first thing we will tell everyone about this trip. As we hike the final stretch of the river trail, I become more aware of my surroundings. I look in all directions for bighorn sheep. I expect one around every corner. Each animal encounter alters my perceptions of the canyon's craggy interior. I think of the animals that live here, of the ones I have seen before. I've spotted beavers in the river, ringtails on the perimeter of the campsite, coyotes trotting across the esplanade, condors, ravens, and swifts, all on the wing. In these thoughts, the canyon loses some of its desolation. It becomes a land of the living. So again, that's kind of one of those types of experiences you can have on the corridor trails, and one, again, that kind of resonates with me when I'm down there and I run into some of the incredible animals that you can see. I also want to go ahead and read just a moment of me at the Plateau Point, because I think Plateau Point is just one of those truly astounding places in the Grand Canyon. It's part of the corridor system, and it's just one of those spots where if you can be there at sunset, you're pretty much in one of the best places on earth. I stand at Plateau Point, the center of a geologic universe. On the teetering edge of 525 million year old rock. I turn around in circles. I try to ingrain it in my memory. The North Rim and the South Rim, the buttes, temples, and mesas, the flat wideness of the Tonto platform, and below, the inner gorge and the Colorado River. I return to the word temple. I write it down. A land of temples, I write, of sentient rock forms. I raise my digital camera and take a picture of the temples above and the river below. I look at the display image on the small screen. I frown. It appears flat, drained of the drama I see on the other side of the lens. It is a postage stamp of a window trying to capture a canyon that unfolds, 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 reaches, and drops. At Plateau Point, the canyon is 360 degrees of expansive views. A camera, I think, does nothing here, even if it has a super wide-angle lens with panoramic view and video capability. I need to etch the place into my memory. I stopped taking photographs. I have watched the ritual time after time, year after year. Millions of tourists, most these days with digital cameras, snapping photographs of the Grand Canyon. What becomes of the pictures? The millions and millions of them saved on computers, printed and pressed into albums, or put into boxes. For most people, the Grand Canyon exists as memory and a handful of photographs. It lives at the edge of their consciousness. It remains obscure and unfathomable. We know and don't know what the canyon truly holds. The canyon is a place where geology is scraped raw and the sun bakes everything. A place where people whisper their secrets into the wind, where people engage, awaken, and their eyes are wide again. As I muse on the Grand Canyon, I hear sounds like clicks on metal. I turn around from where I sit on a stone bench with a view into Pipe Creek Canyon and the river. A raven has landed on the metal railing behind me. His black feathers reveal purple glints in the light. He calls softly into the wind. I want to take his picture, to capture the scene with the raven and his curious eyes. Instead, I only watch. The raven and I are alone. I wait to see if he might tell me a secret, If he might tell me things about the Grand Canyon only a raven would know. The raven, I suspect, walked the life-death line. A scavenger, the raven senses death coming on an animal's breath. He might even detect cancer in the body. The raven lets out a second call. He takes off to the east. I imagine what his call means. You will live for today. In the fading light, I stare out at the buttes, temples, and mesas. They become subtle and unreal, like the distant background of a painting, into the pale. I know my camera cannot register this light in the same way my eyes do, so I only watch. Thank you.